A short note on the pre-Shakespearean drama or the University Wits. The pre-Shakespearean dramatists of the Elizabethan age are known as the University Wits. They are so called because they were associated with the University of Cambridge or Oxford. The constellation of the University Wits consists minor stars like Thomas Kidd, Lily, George Peele, Robert Greene, Thomas Lodge and Thomas Nash, all of whom revolved round the central figure Christopher Marlowe. These University Wits were men who used to act. They were also dramatists. They knew the stage and the audience, and in writing their plays they remembered not only the actor's part but also the audience's love for stories and brave spectacles. Their training began as actors, they revised old plays and finally became independent writers. They often worked together as Shakespeare worked with Marlowe and Fletcher, either in revising old plays or in creating new ones. They had a common store of material from which they derived their stories and characters, and so we find frequent repetition of names in their plays. They were romantic in their attitude and represented the spirit of the Renaissance. Now let us briefly examine the works of the University Wits one by one. John Lyly was the dramatist who looked to the court for favour rather than to the spectators in the public theatres. He wrote comedies which were intended for the child actors in the royal service. Lyly's charming romantic plays are all comedies. His plays are Women in the Moon, Endymion, Sappho and Phao, Alexander and Campaspe, Midas, Mother Bombie and Love's Metamorphosis. Lyly's comedies, mythological plays and allegorical plays are extremely witty in character. He elaborates the romantic sentiment and the romantic fancy. Wit and humour found generally in sparkling dialogues characterized Lyly's comedies. Peele is noted for his poetic style and decorative phrases. His main plays are The Arrangement of Paris, a kind of romantic comedy, the famous Chronicle of King Edward I, a kind of rambling chronicle play, The Old Wives' Tale, a clever satire on the popular drama of the day, The Love of King David and Bathsheba, a biblical play. Next is Robert Greene. He has written 5 plays: The Comical History of Alphonsus, King of Aragon, A Looking Glass for London and England, Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay, The History of Orlando Furioso, The Scottish History of James IV. Of these plays, the most popular is Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay. This is a romantic comedy. In this play, we have 3 distinct worlds: the world of magic, the world of aristocratic life, and the world of the country. His skill in plot construction in this play is commendable, though in other plays it is not so well marked. The play is equally well known for its romantic setting. Greene's in-depthness to drama was not only in the direction of romantic setting and weaving of plot, in characterization too he made a notable contribution. He was the first to draw the Rosalines and Celias of Elizabethan times. Kidd had neither Lyly's wit nor Marlowe's poetry, but he could translate an exciting story into a tense series of striking situations, effectively linked by suspense and surprise. In his Spanish tragedy, Kidd employs the whole Senecan apparatus of horror: ghost, hanging, stabbing, madness and suicide, and employs them all with a skill which prepares his hearers and yet surprises them. The Spanish tragedy is a revenge play. By writing this tragedy, Kidd supplied the romantic melodrama to the dramatic literature before Shakespeare. The play is well constructed and is full of strong external action. The stage effects are well managed, and the murders are thrillingly committed, and the whole work rises at the end to a climax. The characters are forceful. Kit contributed a new type of hero, the hesitating type seen magnificently in Hamlet on the stage. The most important dramatist before Shakespeare among the University Wits was Christopher Marlowe. He is really the greatest figure in pre-Shakespearean drama. He has left behind powerful tragedies: Tamburlaine, Dr. Faustus, The Jew of Malta, Edward II. Marlowe's contribution is immense to drama, that he raised the subject matter of drama to the higher level. He provided big heroic subjects that appealed to the imagination of the audience. His subjects were grand and stirred the readers to their depth. He dramatized the history of Tamburlaine, a world conqueror, and Dr. Faustus, a necromancer in pursuit of universal knowledge. He gave life and reality to his characters. Characters in the hands of Marlowe were no longer puppets pulled by string, but living and breathing realities. He gave lifelike characters marked with vigor and fire. Dr. Faustus has forceful heroes full of energy and zest for life. Marlowe made improvement in the field of tragedy and modified the conception of tragedy held in the Middle Ages. For the Middle Ages, tragedy was a thing of princes. For Marlowe, it was a matter of individual heroes. In a typical Marlowean tragedy, a giant figure is portrayed, and his consuming passion reaches beyond the ordinary aspiration until he meets his fate. The interest lies not in the mere fall, but in the struggle between the overweening soul, typically of the Renaissance, in its insatiable ambition, and the limitations which it seeks to overcome. In the old conception, tragedy of the hero occurred under the domination of fate. It was Marlowe who introduced the element of struggle. In Dr. Faustus, there is constant struggle within the soul of Faustus himself, represented by the good and bad angels. The medieval conception of tragedy was a distinctly moral one. Drama had to show this falling into adversity and thereby inculcate a didactic lesson. There is no moral of this sort in Marlowe's tragedies. In all these ways, Marlowe revolutionized the old conception of tragedy and made it fit for the need and new urges of the Renaissance. He was the first English playwright to perceive that tragic action must issue from and be reflected in character. Marlowe imparted passion, vehemence, and force to Elizabethan drama. He set the stage on fire with the flame of his passion. He added poetic grandeur and poetic excellence to drama. He breathed into drama the life spirit of poetry. In place of rhyming lines, he introduced and perfected the blank verse. His verse is notable for its burning energy, its splendor of diction, its sensuous richness, its variety of pace, and its responsiveness to the demands of varying emotions. In all these ways, the University Wits prepared the ground for Shakespeare and made notable contribution to the growth of drama during the Elizabethan age.